Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 103 and also 104 of Build the Terminator.
The Terminator, week by week, built the T-800, the killing machine that defined a generation. Easy to build with high-quality metal components. You can control sound, lights, articulated limbs, and LED eyes, and explore the Terminator universe. Build the Terminator, issue 1, just $1.99.
So welcome back guys and girls, and thanks for tuning in for some more Terminator. So I just received my issues 103 to 106 just 2 days ago now, and I'm ready to crack on. Today we're actually working on some pretty cool parts. We're going to be fitting the chest plate and some details onto the front of the Terminator. As you can see, he's lined up there. Also, we're going to work on some back details, so he's going to get his back panel on there as well, and also the spring tubes that we have, they're going to actually go onto the shoulders. So at the end of these two, it's going to look pretty cool because he's going to be a lot bulkier, have a lot more mass on him, because at the moment he's just a bit of a skeleton really. On the front he's a bit underweight, shall we say. So I'm going to quickly show you what we're doing, and then before we start I'll show you the parts as always. So they're the chest details there, so those parts, and then also for 104 we've got the back panels and some details there. So obviously in the last issue you saw that I put together up the chest plate, so obviously we're going to add a few more parts to that, and then we can move on from that. After that we've got a few more details for the back, and then we also have in 106 the circuit board for the head. So I should be able to turn on both the lights, so I'm fingers crossed it's going to work. If not, I have to check the batteries if it doesn't work, but irregardless, that's pretty exciting as well. That's going to be in a separate video, but for now we're going to crack on with 104 and 103. Let's get started. Right, so 103, and these are the components. So the first part is the back panel, so that's that big plastic part there. Then you've got the chest detail, so that's a small little plastic component there. You then got the fixing strips. Obviously that's what's going to connect up the chest with the plastic component from the last issue. You've got an Allen key supplied with this issue as well. These components here, they are the force shafts. So again, they're plastic. So just to add, all these items here are plastic. You've then got 2 rubber sockets, plastic ones. And in terms of the screws, so first of all we've got, get them back so don't lose them, 5 hex socket screws, which are 3 times 8mm. And then in this bag here, which are, let me double check, sorry, they are the hex ones. The smaller ones are a mixture of 2 times 6mm PB screws and also 2 times 8mm PB screws. All you need as well is the actual chest detail from the last issue. So remember we worked on that one last. And of course, your Terminator, so it's laid out there. I'm going to move a bit more forward for you in a sec. And your screwdriver and a super glue. Right guys and girls, steps 1 to 5, so working on the chest assembly first of all. So obviously you need that part from the last issue like I said, and what you're going to do, you're going to take component 103.2, so that's that chest detail there, and then what you'll see, there's a slot here, and you're going to thread that through, because these pegs here, they will actually fall within the recesses there and sit in nice and snug. So I'm just going to do that now. Just thread that through. So that's how it should be sitting once you've threaded it through. So this part needs to be facing upwards with the inside of the chest cavity. Once you've done that, you're going to take the connector. So that's component 103.3, so that little plastic part there. And again, inside, right at the bottom, there are some little pegs there. You're going to overlay this onto those pegs, because there are 2 holes. And what you'll do with that, you'll take 2 PB screws. They are the 2 times 6mm ones, so the much smaller ones. And that will secure those 2 components together. So I'm just lining that up. I will show you once I've done it. Okay, after a bit of faffing around, I managed to get it in there. It's very, very fiddly because you don't have much space for your hands, and obviously if you're an adult like me, hands can be quite big, so I would recommend using tweezers, to be honest. I managed to do it in the end without them, but I'm just securing that now, and I'm just going to show you how it looks once it's in there. Then you'll see. And that's step 4, by the way, guys and girls. So I would show you, but this is on so fiddly. If you don't hold it in place, it'll easily fall out. So I'd rather do it as I go along and then show you, rather than try and film at the same time. So you can see that I've put that in there now. So that's all set up on there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to move on to step 5 and 6. So I'm going to move over the Terminator. So I just need to go make some space. Right, so step 5, with those plastic pegs, there are 2 holes here just at the top, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit in the video when I've finished editing so you can see a bit closer. And they actually go into the Terminator. So you just push those through, and then what will happen is, once they're in there, you can actually move the chest plate into place with it. They will actually slot in, because there are some pegs at the top, so they will actually go through. So I'm just pushing those through, try not to lose it. So that's one in. I'm just going to show you the pegs on the actual chest panel, so you can see. Right, so they're in there now. So I've put, you can see those 2 black marks. So at the top of the chest panel, these pegs here, that's actually what will line up. So I'm just going to be very careful as I do this. So I've got to get it right and get my springs underneath. So on the actual metal frame, there's some curved parts from this chest panel, and they actually sit nice and snugly onto it. So you can see I've put him on there. So I'm just being very careful, because it's still a very fragile piece of kit right now, and it's only plastic like I mentioned before. So that's all pushed in nicely, as you can see. So the chest panel's on there. Now what I'm going to do, so I'll be very careful again, I'm going to flip over the Terminator. So I'm just going to pause filming for a sec, and then I'll show you from the back. Right, so I've switched the camera here so you guys can really see, because it's not really fair for you not to be able to see this part here. So for steps 8 to 10, sorry, we're going to actually put some PB screws in certain components. So just here, right at the bottom, there's a screw hole on either side, and that's where you're going to put 2 PB screws. You're also going to put one there, and on the other side there. So that's going to secure that all together. So I'm just going to do. So for the first 2 holes at the bottom, the smaller ones I showed you, you want the 2 times 6 millimeter PB screws. It's the top parts that are going to be the 2 times 8 millimeter PBs. So I'm just going to do the smaller ones first. I'll do one, and then I'll skip ahead to the next part, so you don't have to see that part. Right, so I've done the left hand side, so I'm just finishing up now on the right hand side of the Terminator, so securing that down, so that's feeling a lot more solid already. Right, so I've screwed all those in now, so I've just flipped him back over again, so as you can see he's a bit more secure there. For this part we actually need to fit on the springs, so this large and the small spring tube are going to be connected to the shoulder, and also there's a section on the ear. Right, so the smaller spring is going to be going on this section here on both sides, and the larger one is going to be fitting on this part here on the shoulder. So I'm just going to go ahead and do those 2 sides now. So this is obviously going to make him look a lot cooler now. Just got to be very careful with threading it on, because they're not always the most easiest thing to put on. It says to put a little bit of super glue on, but I'm just going to try without it first of all to see how it works. See a bit how it actually sits on there. Okay, so I'd say it does need a little bit of glue like it recommends, so I'm just putting that on now onto the left side. I've done the right side, sorry, the left side. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue now to the other side. And then our springs are engaged and where we want them on the shoulder. That's going to fit nice and snug. Okay, I'm just going to show you a close up there. So that's how he's looking on the shoulders and on the head on both sides. So pretty cool. Let's move on to the final steps. Right, so the final step, step 14 to 16. So you're going to take the plastic shafts here, and what you're going to do, you're actually going to pop those in these parts here, so on both sides. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you on the camera how to do that. Just going to spin it around so you can see, and then I'll thread them on, because what you need to secure them with are those hex screws. and obviously we'll need the Allen key for that as well. So these are the shafts that are going to pop through there, and you'll see I'm going to line that on there like so. So pop one there, and then you do the same with the other one underneath. So that one's just hiding there, and obviously we'll do the same on both sides. So I'm just going to secure one of them now, and then I'll take the camera off after and show you how to do the others. Okay, so I've just fitted the last one in, just to let you know they don't fit too tightly, so just bear that in mind when you're actually doing this. So I'm just going to quickly spin the camera around so you can see that, and that is that issue complete. So that's how those shafts are looking there, so you can see they're all nicely connected, and the springs are done, and we are good to go. So that is 103 complete. Right guys and girls, issue 104. So we're going to be gluing on some supports for the chest, some 2 little plastic components, and also fixing the back panel. So obviously the back panel we had in the last issue, which we didn't need to do anything with at the time, but now we're going to be working on that today. These are the chest plates, so they're the supports, sorry, just 2 plastic components there, left and right. These 2 parts here, these are the back panels, again being left and right. And then the other components we have, so these are 104.7, they are the rib shafts, plastic, everything else is running away from me as you can see. These are 104.5, so they're 2 straight shafts. You've then got some fixing blocks, so 2 of those. And then lastly, for the screws, we have 3 2x4mm PMs, 5 2x6mm PM screws, and 3 2x4mm PB screws. So they are all there. All you need for this obviously is your Terminator, screwdrivers, cocktail stick and a glue, and we're good to go. So steps 1 to 6, you're going to take the back panel and the 2 plastic back panels that go with it. So you want the left one first, obviously that's marked with an L, and you will see on it, see this slit here lines over that one, this one here, sorry, and it just fits into a groove. And then what you're going to do, once it's aligned up at the top, there is a screw hole here at the top, and you're going to use one of your 2x PB 2x4mm screws. So I'm just going to align that first, just check that's how I want it, and then if I'm happy with it, I'm going to screw it in. Yeah, so that's slotted in nicely there. So we're just going to screw it from at the top, just there. I'll just twist it a bit, so there's that little hole at the top. So let me grab my screw, and then I will do the other side for you guys. Okay, so I've partially screwed in the left side, so now just lining up the right side. So that's just clicked on now, so you can see that there. I'm just going to pop the other screw in, and then I'm going to secure those 2 together. Nice and simple. Nice easy work. So there you go, you heard that click, so that one's all done. Just do the other one because it was halfway through there. And that's how that should be looking at that point. So I'm going to pop that down to one side for a moment. Next up, we're going to move on to step 5 and 6. So I'm just going to also just mention that the shafts actually go at the very top of the back panel there, so they slot into those holes there. And what we're going to do is we're going to super glue those into place. So I'm just going to push it through like so. So we want one on either side, and obviously it needs to be facing from that point outwards. So you're just going to pop some super glue on the end of that, and that will secure those 2 into place. So I'm just going to put a little bit around the edge of it, and that should do the trick. So let's do the first one. Hold that in place for a moment, and then I'll do the other one. Okay, I've just secured the second shaft in the top now. So I'm just holding that down for a moment or 2 just to give it a bit more time. And that's how that's looking at that point. So that's stage 1 to 6 complete. So now we're going to move on to step 7 and 8. And what you need those rib shafts, so these 2, and also the connectors. So these are the ones with that little ball on the end. And what you do, you're going to pop it on the end of the of the rib shaft, sorry. And you'll know which end it is because it's the one with those lines on it there. So this is a push and click function. So that's just clicked into place. I'm going to do the other one now. There we go. And then what you're going to do, you're going to spin the back shaft back round, and you'll see here on either side there are two kind of similar looking shapes to those blocks, and you're going to pop those in there. So I'm just going to do that now. So let me just align that up. Okay, so I've just pushed those two through there. They're not firmly connected at this point, may I add, so I've just pushed them in slightly so they've got a bit of stability there. Now we're going to move on to steps 9 to 12. Right, so for these parts you need to take the support panels. So I've got left and right there, and what you'll see there are these slits here, so they actually align underneath there. So I'm just going to move the camera around so you can actually see that before I actually. So I'm just showing you from this side here. So there's the parts there that you're going to slot through, and all we're going to do is just super glue those panels onto either side. So that just holds this section here into place. And like I mentioned, you need a little bit of glue for this. I'm just going to pop it on the edge of those raised ridges, and that should hold those two nicely into place. And may I just add as well that it needs to be, you can see there's this arch shape, it needs to be facing that way when it goes down. Obviously it's not going to go down, it won't fit in if you have it incorrectly anyway, so it's kind of obvious, but I thought I'd just mention it anyway before I do that. So I'm just holding that into place now, and then I'll do the right side after. Okay, so as you can see, that's all nicely aligned up, and that's just setting now. Just letting the glue dry for a minute or two before I flip him round, because we need to put him back on his front again for the next step. Right, for the final step, steps 13 to 16, we are going to put the back panel on the back of the Terminator. So obviously I've got my back panel here, and I'm just going to put it on top here, and you'll see, I'm just going to show you on the camera where it slots over. It's very simple, but I'll show you it. So it's obviously going to go over this section here, so I'm just going to show you now how that slots on. So that's slotted on nicely, as you can see, snug as a bug. And then once we've done that, we need to fix some screws onto it. So I'm just going to grab those screws now. So just to mention, on the side of the back and chest panels, they actually slot over together. So there's two little pins, you just need to push that down so they actually secure onto one another. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, and once you've done that, you will see that there are two holes here at the top and two holes at the bottom as well. And we're going to use the 2 times, I believe, let me double check, 2 times 6mm PM screws for that part. So I'm just going to secure that section up now. So this is the final screw hole here on either side. So I'm just going to secure those up now with the screws like I mentioned. So I might as well just hover over with the camera, multitasking here. Grab the other one. Please bear with me guys, I will improve my bird's eye view of filming when I get an attachment in the future. Okay, so that's that section complete and that issue complete. So guys and girls, that's 103 and 104 complete, and as you can see, I fitted the back panel on in this issue, and in the last one I've done the chest panel. So he's now considerably bigger, heavier and bulkier, and feels a lot more solid as well, because obviously he's been feeling quite flimsy. He still is flimsy, I will say. In certain parts I'm a bit wary when I'm turning him around. Don't know about the other builders, but it's been quite scary having to shift him from his front to his back constantly. But on the next issues, we're only working on the back, so I'm going to be leaving him in this position, so it should be good. So in the next issue, we're just working on the back detail. So there's a back panel there, and these parts here, all these shafts and whatnot, they're actually the traps. So obviously the traps are connected to the neck and the shoulders. So the traps are technically shoulders and back muscles because it's upper back. You're working the front and the back, and also that little back panel there. And then the last one, which is 106, we are installing the circuit board. So that, like I said, that's going to be a 5-second issue, by the way. That should allow me to control the lights. So I'm hoping it's going to work, but we'll see. It's been quite a long time since I've played around the lights, so I don't know. But if it doesn't work, I'll go back to it and then show you in the next issues anyway, when I get up to 110. So only 14 issues left and we're done. And just to add, by the way, once I finished up to 106, the next issue, it says here, we're actually going to put the head in place and start on the base. So that's pretty exciting because obviously we're going to get some sort of support coming to hold him up, which I believe there's 3 very big holes at the back of the back. That's where I think it's going to support it. And also start to build that post-apocalyptic base. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited. This is honestly looking so sick now. But anyway, I hope you liked today's video. If you did, as always, please remember leaving a thumbs up, like, comment and share. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do consider subscribing. And until next time, I'll see you soon.